What up, y'all? It's T-Tar, and today we're looking at more of y'all's theories for Pokemon, what they'll announce in 3 days. Let's go. Pokedex counts. Hey, T-Tar, I looked through all the Polylia Pokedexes and counted how many Pokemon of Gen 2 and Gen 5 were in Scarlet and Violet. This is an interesting thing to consider, right? Because overall, Pokemon is trying to make you build their decks, especially using Pokemon Home and all. So it'd be interesting to see just how many Pokemon are missing from Gen 2 and 5. The results show, and this isn't fully accurate, as there are some Pokemon I didn't count, such as Victini. So these are Pokemon that you can only get by transferring in. That there are only 5 out of Johto's 100 Pokemon that are not in Scarlet and Violet. And there are 73 of Unova's 156 that are missing in Scarlet and Violet. Joto has 97 of its Pokemon in this game. We're gonna check this. Okay, so I was doing the counting myself, and then I found a site that did my job for me. So these are all the Pokemon in National Dex order that are in Scarlet and Violet, starting with the Pikachu family, of course. So we're gonna go down to Joto. Literally almost everything that's... You don't notice this when you're playing Scarlet and Violet, but everything in Joto is here. Pichu, Igglybuff, the Mareep family, the Azumarill family. I didn't know Azurill was Gen 2. Yeah, this crap's Gen 3. The Skiploon family, everything is here all the way down to Tyranitar. Alright, so for the Pokemon missing from the game, Celebi's a good resource to use. They'll track down all the Pokemon that aren't in Scarlet and Violet. So starting with Caterpie and Kanto, if we scroll down to Joto, there's actually a good amount missing. So it starts with Ladian's family, the Crobat, Togetic, Xatu, Unknown, Wobbuffet, Steelix, Shuckle, Corsola, Remoraid, Octillery, Batide, Smoochum, Miltank, and Celebi. Okay, so of Johto's 100, there are 18 that are missing in the game. And then for Black and White, of course, there's a lot more missing. So starting from Victini and Patrat, if you scroll down, there's a good amount missing, leading all the way. Damn, that's a lot. Fam, is there even that many Pokemon in Black and White? Fam, down to Genesect. So it does seem like about half of Black and White's Pokemon are missing, but only 18 of Johto's Pokemon are missing. Now, I don't know what this means, but I'm assuming that it means that we're gonna get Gen 2 remakes first, before Gen 5, as there are almost none missing from Scarlet and Violet of Gen 2, and there's a much broader amount of Gen 5 dudes like you'd expect. Darn. I mean, I was thinking the opposite way, that if there was a good amount of Pokemon that were in the game, like Joto having 88 of its Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, that it means Joto is further away down the line rather than closer. Just because, like, what Pokemon would want is for you to finally see these Pokemon that you haven't seen in a while because they weren't in Scarlet and Violet, and that would pull in some extra attention towards the games. There's of course other ways to read that too, but going off that idea, if there's half of Unova's Pokemon that are missing, it sounds like Unova would have a better chance at coming first. Like, you saw that list we went through, right? Patrat, Seismitoad, all the way down to Genesect. We can feel it ourselves, right? All of these Pokemon we haven't seen properly in a long while, so that would raise up Unova's stocks. Versus Joto, right? Now that you think back to the games, there is a lot of Joto Pokemon all over the place. All the Giraffarigs, the Stantlers. So because they so easily gave us a bunch of Joto Pokemon to experience, does that mean Joto really isn't coming next? Honestly, at this point, I've said it, Unova is more hype. I'm just the one that personally wants Joto, but Unova sounds more likely. Gen 5 and Gen 2 remake speculation. So this is a post about trying to think outside of the box in terms of Pokemon's hype seasons. We're missing something in this hype season. We have always not accounted for something in each hype season. So they're saying, as Game Freak always keeps doing something else for their remakes, that we might be missing something and they might completely do something else again. I think we need to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. They always put out something unexpected. I see them doing something special to the Gen 5 remakes. So this is a really good point, and it's hard to tell because we don't have a proper pattern to go off. We have 3 remakes kind of to go off. Let's Go doesn't really count. The remakes we really have to go off are, okay, for Fire and Leaf Green and Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it was straight up just remaking it with like the actual definition of remaking a game in the industry. The only 2 we have to go off is Auras, where they made like an evolved remake, new forms, Mega Evolution, a gimmick, and then the Diamond and Pearl remake, which we count as the Legends part. So they made a whole other game to express new ideas. We don't know if what they're trying to do is give us a different idea each time, or, and this is something I was thinking a bit about, if Game Freak was just trying to find their footing. Because it sounds like Legends Arceus, especially since it sold so well, 15 million copies, for a game that does not have an interesting title, did not have that good a hype season on their end, and they didn't spoil Origin, Dialga, and Palkia. Going in, it almost looked like a spin-off game. In fact, that's what was popularly believed even after Legends Arceus came out, that it was a spin-off game, not actually a core series game. Now, of course, it's more evident Ursaluna and all are in the main games, and they already mentioned early on it was a main series game. But even a game that weirdly portrayed in the hype season sold so well, I feel like Pokemon found their gold mine. It could be another curveball, but the Legends approach will work, and they've proven that. To me, my favorite curveball idea that isn't the two is what I was always saying, the Pokemon Yin and Yang idea, where it's modern versions of Black and White that take place after Paldea, which would be terastallized. So it's kind of like Auras because it's a terastallized edition, but it's essentially a new game. That would be the ultimate thing they could do. Anyhow, make sure you shank that like button. We got 3 days until Pokemon Day. Which of those ideas sounds more likely to you? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.